Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Essay. My name is Sean, and today we're going to be looking at Batman issue number 36. So this is pretty cool, the storyline. And I'm not going to lie, I'm thinking of just winging it. Normally I get scripts written out for this, but the story is just so cool, I don't think I can script it. So basically, the story basically surrounds Batman and Superman and their friendship, which is awesome because Batman now imagine your two best friends. Batman now is just getting engaged to Catwoman, and what happens is Superman is basically on the phone with Lois Lane, and Lois is like, dude, Superman, honey bun, you need to call Batman. You need to be like, hey man, I heard you engaged to Catwoman. Let's sit down, let's chat, let's say what's up. Now at the same time, Superman is busy stopping a train from crashing basically, and so on, and he's just telling her, yo, listen, I'm busy, I'll call him, whatever. And she's like, yeah, sure, sure, you're busy, I get it, but like, listen, he's like your best friend, you should holler at him, you should say like, hey Batman, and whatever. And at the same time, there's the same conversation going on here with Batman and Catwoman. As they're fighting crime, they're just kicking down some goons or whatever, and she's like, hey dude, he's your closest friend, Superman, you should definitely go tell him, and he's like, no, Jim Gordon is my closest friend, and she's like, no, listen dude, you need to chat to Superman. It's like, actually, second thought, Alfred is more of my closest friend. And Catwoman's like, listen, cut all the BS, dude, I'm aware you're busy, because he's also giving up the excuse like, listen, I'm busy, I'm Batman, whatever. And she's like, but you have to just give this guy a call, you have to just call him, And not only that, on the flip side, we're seeing even with Superman and Lois Lane, she's like, listen, I'd actually even like to meet Catwoman. I'd like to see Batman. I'd like to know what it is that made Batman choose Catwoman. Someone who is known as a thief and so on, like a notorious thief, and so on. So she thinks it will be pretty interesting, all right? And so this is basically what we get to. We get to like, okay, Superman's like, okay, sure, maybe I'll consider it or whatever, and something about that, right? And so basically, then we snap back to Catwoman and Batman, who are basically on this rooftop, as they do. And she's just like, listen, let's stop debating about this, and all this crap, she's also just like, I'd also like to go see Lois Lane and so on, I'd also like to meet her and whatever. Now, fundamentally in the story, we find out that Batman and Superman are actually investigating the same type of criminal, Superman with his Clark Kent persona on, with Lois Lane and so on, and then they're busy investigating this crime or whatever. So they're busy investigating the same type of criminal, and Superman basically suits up, Batman, Catwoman, same thing, they're looking for this criminal. But like, Catwoman says this, she says something, it's like, and this is where we get into a really good monologue between the two, is that she says basically like, right now I get it, you're afraid, because you're afraid basically to talk to this guy, you're afraid to talk to Superman about these things, and then, and I get it, but please just call him, same time, Superman, same thing with Lois Lane. They keep on basically, these women keep on debating with these two men, basically just to call each other and just say like, hey, what's up, how you doing? But at the end of the day, you see this really cool monologue, right? It's that Superman and Batman are basically talking to each other. They're like, listen, like, Superman is this guy who's more human than me. He came and he made him, as he's known, like, people see him as a god here on Earth, but he became human, to understand people, unlike me, And then here is Superman busy. Here's the flip side to it. He's busy saying like, listen, this is Batman. Batman is like, he's crazy. Like, not like he's crazy, but like, Batman, this is a guy who's lost everything, and despite all that evil, he turned out to be like, I want to do good here in the world and so on. So they're busy explaining this to each other, I guess, and You know, I mean, certain things, like, you don't realize it, but they realize that both of them look up to each other. I mean, as Batman describes, like, this is the last survivor of a Holocaust, basically, you know, and so on. And then Superman is like, listen, this guy was raised alone, you know, with his memories of his mother and his father, unlike me, who I don't have my memories of my mother and my father, and so on. Now, both of them, they're talking about the pain and how they admire each other, how each of them are better men than each other. And then they end up, since they're investigating the same people, they basically end up in the same building, you know. And there's this funny comment, you know, Batman makes, saying like, hey dude, I thought you would take the elevators. Like, sure, if I wanted to break like a window or something. And then basically Catwoman and Lois Lane basically greet each other like, hey, how you doing? And whatever. And they both meet up basically with the villains that they were both investigating, which is the same two people. They're working together. And then there's this funny line, like, you know, because it's so corny, Superman always says like up, up and away, and, you know, Batman always has this dark and brooding line. So Superman is like, what is it, like, vengeance is the night, you know, like, as they're about to go pummel these guys, and then Batman's like, what, up, up and away, and then they just go and they knock these guys out. And basically we get into the second part of this. This will be issue number 37, where they go on a double date together, which is like, dude, it's so flipping cool. Anyway, so we're gonna work hard to get that to you as soon as possible. And yeah, let me know if you like this comic, if you like the channel, if you like this video. Please like and subscribe. Send me comments also in the comments below. We can chat and so on. And yeah, check me out on Twitter and on Patreon. Support us, please. And yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Cheers.